Okay, so I have two bowls set out, one for the wet ingredients and one for the dry ingredients. Usually I just throw it all in one bowl, but for the video I'll try to make it more appealing. And I do have a 15-ounce can of Libby's pumpkin puree. I think that's the name. Now, for a time I switched to an organic puree because for a while it seemed like this pumpkin puree was crunchy. I don't know, it was crunchy. Every time I would make a loaf of pumpkin bread, it was just crunchy, and I tasted it, and there was just something in it, but it's much better now. So I've switched back to the Libby's pumpkin because it is, I think it's gone up to about $2.62 a can for pumpkin puree, and that has gone up quite a lot. So I'm emptying the pumpkin puree into the bowl that's used for the wet ingredients. And I just flung a little piece right there. I think I'm in a hurry. I think the pumpkin bread takes about an hour to make, and I am behind, and I have soup to make too. So, all right. So get yourself a can of 15-ounce pumpkin puree. And I dropped something. Okay. Now I have 4 eggs. It's quite a lot of eggs, but this is for 2 loaves. So 2 loaves. So I'm going to crack open these 4 eggs. I guess I could have had them already pre-cracked. Okay. Yep, dropped a shell. All right. Okay. And then the last egg goes in. And now I'm washing my hands because I do not like to touch the raw egg and then have to touch other things. So next we are going to get the good old-fashioned vegetable oil. So it does call for quite a bit of vegetable oil, which you can substitute out. But right now it also calls for 2/3 cup water. So I'm going to go get the 2/3 cup water and do that first. That way, if I did the oil, the measuring cup would be all slimy and I have to wash it, and I don't want to do that. So I will pour the 2/3 cups water into the wet ingredients. And then I will measure out the 1 cup vegetable oil. I think the substitute is applesauce. I'm pretty sure it's applesauce. So some people use 1 cup of applesauce. I usually don't have applesauce on hand. I do have the vegetable oil, and it's not 100% healthy, but it's not going to hurt if you have it once in a while during the holidays. So that goes in the bowl. And then the recipe also calls for some vanilla. So 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. And then I'm going to give it a stir. Of course, I could use a better spoon, but I'm just going to use a regular spoon. You could easily just throw this into a blender if you have a stand-alone blender or mixer, and it works just as well. I just recently got a mixer a couple years ago for my husband for Christmas, and I still haven't gotten 100% used to it since I'm so old-fashioned. But here I go, I'm going to whisk it. But these wet ingredients are really easy to stir, so unless you want to clean another bowl for your mixer, I just usually use this one bowl. Okay, now I'm going to switch to the dry ingredients. So we are going to scoop 3.5 cups of your regular all-purpose flour. So this is for 2 loaves, 3.5 cups of flour. And we usually eat 1 loaf at a meal. And then sometimes I will freeze the other loaf and just defrost it or thaw it out when we have soup or some other means for it. But I've tried quite a few pumpkin bread recipes, and this one to me seems to be the best. So I've got my flour, and then the good old-fashioned baking soda. So 2 teaspoons of baking soda goes in the dry ingredients. And it's kind of stuck in there. I don't know what I use for that. I'm going to use some salt. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Now, I'm notorious for pouring too much salt into my breads, my cookies, my soups. So I always use a little bit less. But I think this recipe is right on target. 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Sometimes it says kosher salt. I just put regular salt. And then the pumpkin pie spice. So you could break it up. You could break it up and do the cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and the ginger. I've done that before too, but this recipe I'm just going to use 2 tablespoons of pumpkin pie spice. Make sure you use the whole 2 tablespoons because that is what gives the bread its flavor. So if you wanted to use the other ingredients, I think it's 1 teaspoon cinnamon and nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon clove, and I'm trying to remember, I think it's 1/4 teaspoon of the ginger. That's also good. But for this video, it's the 2 tablespoons of pumpkin pie spice because I'm short of time here. And then I know I'm forgetting the sugar. There we go. Okay. So yes, we need sugar. So some recipes call for 3 cups of sugar, and that to me is just too sugary. So I cut it down to 2.5 cups of sugar. You could probably even do less. You could probably even do 2 cups of sugar, but I do 2.5. So those little cups I got at Walmart. They were part of the Pioneer Woman collection. I really like that collection. She's got such colorful, bright things, and I love color. I used to not like colors so much, but the older I get, the more I love it. So I like those measuring cups. So give that a quick stir. Stir in the sugar. Stir in all those wet. Those wet ingredients together. And then it looks smooth and creamy. And then I'm going to pour the dry ingredients into the other bowl. Make sure I stir that up really good. Sometimes I might add a little bit of cinnamon in addition to the pumpkin pie spice. And then I'm going to mix a little bit more. And then I'm going to pour it into the other bowl. And then here comes quite a bit of mixing, quite a bit of stirring. I don't know what I'm doing right here. I think I got a text or a phone call. So sorry about that. Okay, I got a new spoon. That's what happened. I got a new spoon, and yeah, we're gonna mix up all those wonderful, flavorful ingredients together. So this is going to take between 50 to 60 minutes to make. I think it's usually 50 minutes. So I preheated the oven to 350 degrees. My pans are all ready. Just your regular basic bread loaf pan. And then stirring it, and it's coming along well. Okay, so I'm back. So yes, it looks lovely. I think I'm done stirring. Everything is creamed together, no lumps. So I have my bread pans. They are ready to go. I have already buttered them. I just used butter to grease them. You could use a spray. And then I put a little bit of flour inside of them and shook it around so that helps the bread while it's baking not to stick to your bread pan. And then I'm trying to figure out how to do this so that everybody can see, because the bowl is rather large and it's rather heavy. So I just try to eyeball it. You know, I put a little bit in this pan and then a little bit in the other pan and smooth it out so it looks like a nice even lump. And then I do love breads. I don't know what it is. I love my carbs. I am a carb lover. I'm a bread lover of all sorts. All right, now I'm going to scrape the bowl. And that bowl is heavy. It's quite a big bowl. All right, so they're all in there. Got to get all that batter in there, so the more the batter there is, the bigger the bread loaf. Okay. Oh, I'm going to go back in for some more. I don't like to waste anything. I don't want to waste the goodie. So the bread is done. It was baking at 350 degrees for 50 minutes, and it comes out. Toothpick is clear, and it looks perfect. It looks delicious, and the kitchen smells wonderful. I've gone ahead and cut it open. It's cooked all the way through, and it's absolutely delicious. So give this pumpkin bread recipe a try. Add it as a side to your soups. And I hope you all enjoy your fall. Please hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much.